Hey guys, this is Danny Boy. So we have gotten past the first area, we've gotten past the crypt, and we're now in the temple steps. I'm still playing with Anthrosaurus, who's playing an Outlander, and I have gotten a couple of new skills. I now have Howl. Howl is like a debuff. It reduces... I'm not totally sure, I don't remember, this was a while ago, but I believe it reduces their damage perhaps, and possibly their armor. Hopefully I will link the tooltip eventually, just kind of show it, but either way, it's a debuff. It makes them less powerful, and I'm fairly certain it makes me do more damage against them. I also have a temporary summon. I summon a wolf, a shadow wolf thing. He has big glowing red eyes. I think he actually looks really, really cool. And had trouble getting up these stairs for some reason. And eventually the wolf will do more damage. He'll steal health and give it to me. Kind of Blood Golem-esque from Diablo 2, though not quite the same thing, really. And eventually he'll be permanent. His cooldown will be equal to his duration, so he'll essentially be permanent. Would have been nice if they just kind of made him permanent, rather than once you get to a certain tier, rather than having to constantly summon him every, like, minute and a half. Or whatever it is, but... minute, but whatever. So still dual-wielding axes, still moving right along. I do actually like the little Shadow Wolf quite a bit, just because he looks really cool. I don't really know how much damage he does or how effective he is in general, but I do know he looks pretty cool. Wolf Shade, it's called. I did very, very quickly glance at that tooltip for Howl, and it reduces movement speed, cast speed, attack speed, and increases all damage taken. I believe it does all of that by like 15%. Also, unlike my Engineer series, this series is still post-com. I am doing this after the fact. So hopefully it's a little more intelligible and a little more informative, but hopes are not high. So the new enemies we're facing Armored War Beasts, which are just kind of a standard run up to you, beat you, hurt you kind of guy, bite you, I guess would be the... See, what did I just say? Intelligible? Not intelligible. Apparently, wolves beat you. They don't bite you. And I'm also facing gigantic guys with gigantic shields that take a really long time to kill and do a lot of damage and have like a sweeping attack. And then these Death Flinger guys, which are essentially a new type of archer that just throws spears. They have more life, they do good damage, though they seem to do a little less damage than a lot of the other archers. Still Rattling archers, which shoot out the fire arrows. Bear traps, which do a lot of damage, as you just saw. I actually purposely stepped on it just because I wanted to see how much damage it actually does, and yeah, a whole lot. It nearly one-shots you. Waddling about for some reason. Howl does not last very long. It only lasts like 4 to 6 seconds. It's pretty short. I believe that does increase as you put... Oh, I'm looking at it right now. It's 6 seconds. There, I finally do look at it. For an extended period of time. Not that 2 seconds is an extended period, but... Again, guys, if you want to see tooltips just for a longer period of time, pause the video. Always an option. Bitter Sprite for a golden key. Bitter Sprites always drop golden keys for golden chests, and the chests usually aren't that far away from the Bitter Sprite. Sometimes they are. It's actually right there, as you can see. My wolf is out right now, giving me some extra damage. And there he goes. He only lasts like 30 seconds, maybe. Actually, I think it's 15 out of the box. Eventually, though, his duration improves to the point that I believe, if I recall correctly, it is equal to the cooldown. So he is, for all intents and purposes, permanent. Beyond just occasionally recasting him. Gibbs! I love Gibbs. Lots of Gibbs when playing the Berserker. Guaranteed crits from their charge mechanic equals lots of Gibbs. Many Gibbs! More! Yeah, these are War Makers, big shields, knock you back. They take a long time to kill, as do all the shielded dudes. Quick transition here, bunch of Rattling archers, some fishing holes, so I won't be showing us fishing because I know that that is the most fun thing to watch ever. We have a champion. And he, for some reason, really, really likes Anthrosaurus. She was kind of freaking out right here. I'm trying to help her, but everything in the world is chasing her. I have no ability to, like, peel enemies off of her to snare them or root them or anything, so I'm just kind of... We're all just running around with our heads cut off, essentially. Yeah, don't stand in the fire. For the Rattling Archers, it does hurt. Generally speaking, when there's death on the ground, you don't stand in said death. But also, as I mentioned in the previous video, we are each giving each other items. So eventually, she gets a really good crossbow with 4 sockets. I give her a bunch of Ember because I have it from my engineer, and she starts doing an ungodly amount of damage. She really does great damage with this class. She is pouring points into rapid fire. She now has the errant shot thing from having tier 1 rapid fire, which is really good. I've used it myself on my own Outlander, and which I have not yet showcased. It just basically gives you a chance to shoot out a second shot, like a double shot, and it just does a great amount of damage. The one thing about Rapid Shot, or Rapid Fire rather, is it just has a really short range. It is eventually improved to 12 yards, but at 7 yards you really have to kind of run up to enemies to use it, plus it knocks them back, which can be helpful, absolutely, but it requires you to reposition yourself pretty frequently. Certainly frequently for a ranged character, which often you just kind of sit back and shoot. Especially if you're using a long-range weapon, like a crossbow, which is almost like sniping enemies, or even a bow. If you're just using a pistol, well, the pistol range is about the same as the rapid fire range anyway, but so it just kind of depends on what you're using at the time. So here we have Rune Callers. Rune Callers summon zombies, and they shoot out poison death, essentially. One of the more annoying casters out there. The big purple wolf head involves me either summoning my wolf or my wolf going away. The orange-ish one means I'm casting Howl. I believe my character kind of rears back his head to Howl also. And another Growl's Left Fist. Yet another one. That is either the 3rd or 4th Growl's Left Fist I have found. And Anthosaurus has found one. Grell he's all left hands, and he leaves them lying around freaking everywhere. Another champion, now Freezing. Freezing is particularly annoying for melee. It slows you down and makes you attack slower, makes it harder to just keep up with them. I'm using my Howl to debuff him. Anthosaurus is kiting. She's now using her awesome Ember crossbow. Notice that when a crossbow has no elemental property, it shoots out a white line, and just any ranged weapon, by the way, for that matter. Any normal one, not shotguns, not cannons, but just the regular pistols, the bows and crossbows. They shoot out a white line without an element. If they have an element, that actually changes color. So she has Fire Ember in it, which makes it do fire damage, so it now changes to a fiery line, which is pretty cool. I like that. It's just a little bit of polish, a little bit of... It's just some change. And mixing things up, variety is always nice. Now, this is a quest I actually did not get in my engineer playthrough. I either missed the lantern, or the lantern just isn't always there, because these areas are random to an extent. So we are in we talked about ghosts, we had to go into this smuggler's den, essentially. There are crabs everywhere, they, I think, electrocute you. There are pistol guys that just do a ton of damage. This is a pistol guy. Does a ton of damage. There are sword guys, ghosts that attack really quick. And then there will be a boss. And by the way, speaking of random, you actually have the option when you create a server, a world, or whatever, to re-roll it. Apparently, it just sticks around, because and I don't know how long exactly, but it seems to be days, because we stopped playing our characters for a while, for over a day, and... Oh, this is One-Eyed Willie's other eye. It always drops off of this corpse. If you find this corpse in this area, you always will get one of One-Eyed Willie's other eyes. And it's a neat little socketable. 3% more armor when in armor is always good. And that corpse, by the way, was also a named corpse, if you noticed. Chester Copperpot? Something like that, I think was the name. But before I forget what I was talking about, we stopped playing our characters for over a day. We went back the next day, and we were able to just go into the same game, and it was the same world. And no enemies had even respawned. It was the same world. We didn't have to re-clear anything. We could just continue from right where we left off. So I don't know if that's just forever, that the games are just perpetual, and they only re-roll if you create a new game, or you choose the re-roll world option when you enter the game, or what. But for them to be permanent, I would think that would be incredibly harsh on their server. So I think it's probably not permanent. It's a certain period of time. And then once you go in there, maybe again, it refreshes the world, so it continues to last. But I would think they would have to clear the worlds eventually, because that has to just be a tremendous amount of data on their servers at any one period of time. But we have a couple of champions here. They're just skeletal generals. Skeletal generals just kind of run fairly quick, and they have a thrusting attack that does damage, but they're nothing really special. They have a lot of life as well. Unfortunately, especially when I'm not critting, at this point Anthrosaurus is doing way more damage than I am. My weapons are pretty sucky compared to hers. They do make a tremendous amount of difference. Also, I know that I talked in a previous episode that I said I find uniques a lot more often when I'm grouped, and part of it, too, isn't just what I particularly find, because I think I found one, maybe two so far. I don't know if I've shown them all. I think I have, though. I think I just found the staff on this character. But beyond that, Anthrosaurus is also finding unique. She's found unique socketables and items and whatever, and she's sharing them with me. So, as I said before, you don't just have your loot to look forward to, you have your friends' loot to look forward to. If they find a unique and you can use it, if they're nice and not jerks, they'll give it to you. And you can just save it and give it back eventually. Another champion, though he's almost dead, explosive. When they die, and when the minions die, they explode like you just saw right there. You have a bit of time to get out of the way, though. I'm also now using a big-ass hammer. I do like two-handers because I love the area of effect, the arc that they have, but I think I wind up abandoning it pretty quick, even though it does do a tremendous amount of damage, especially when I'm raging. The crit damage is just great. This is a noxious enemy. When noxious guys die, they probably have a chance to poison you, though I'm not totally sure on that front. Either way, when they die, they send out a big poison cloud, like you can see right there, which does damage that you don't want to stand in. But we are approaching, getting pretty close to the end. There's a fight here. We're facing the shock crabs. They're called storm claws, actually. It's kind of a Viking name. I would expect that to be more of like a lightning bear or something. We should be coming to One-Eyed Willy shortly, though. The biggest thing to fear in this area was definitely the Pistoliers. They just do a lot of damage. And getting mobbed by the sword guys, because they attack really frequently. They have a fast attack, they do good damage. And I'm berserking and I have no one to kill. No! That hurts me inside. Oh, and we found an enchanter dude. Also, I noticed, because I found enchanters in other playthroughs as well, in just other games, sometimes they just have, and I don't know maybe if it's all the time, the ones that you find have a specific enchantment that they give. Like, I found a guy that just, and I died, I let myself get mobbed. Don't let yourself do that. He just gave fire enchantments to items. Like, I gave him weapons, he would only give them fire enchantments. So, I have found other enchanters, and that one right there, I didn't actually show myself enchanting anything, I edited it out, but perhaps all enchanters in the world have just specific enchantments that they can give you, or maybe it's random and it just depends. I'm not totally sure. But here's One-Eyed Willy. He summons guys, ghosts, and does a lot of damage. Not really too bad. The ghosts die pretty quick, but if you do get mobbed, as I was just a little while ago, they do a lot of damage. There goes Anthrosaurus, case in point. Can't let him get that close. I've actually switched over to a shield now and an axe, because I'm tired of just... that death irritated me, I guess. He will summon a lot of ghosts, though. Oh, he actually just killed some of his own guys. Didn't know he could do that. He's about to die. He also converts dead to hungry souls, which I think is a poison attack? Not totally sure. But he's dead. All that's left is to loot him and loot his two chests. So thanks guys for watching. Stay tuned for more. Anthrosaurus was also pissed that I killed him when she wasn't there. Stay tuned for more. Please like the video if you liked it. Please sub if you'd like to see more. Leave comments and feedback. Ask questions and I'll get back to you. Let me just waddle over here. There's the way out. You can see what I got from the chest. If I recall, basically nothing. Yeah, pretty much. One rare. Ghastly shoulders. Have a good one, guys.